Good morning, children. Welcome to part 4 of cash flow statement. Let us study about calculation of cash flow from operating activities. Now, in this video, we will be studying how to calculate cash flow from operating activities in detail. So, the term operating activities means normal business transaction pertaining to purchase and sale of goods and services, employee benefit expenses, office expenses, etc. So that means operating in activities involves all the basically all those transactions which are related to normal day-to-day business activity, including purchase and sale of goods and services, employee benefit expenses such as salaries, wages, bonus, commission, office expenses, etc. Then the basic information needed for the calculation of cash flow from operating activities is obtained from comparative balance sheet. That means the balance sheet of 2 consecutive years, then statement of profit and loss of the current accounting period, and the additional information. Then point number 3, figure of net profit disclosed by statement of profit and loss cannot be taken as cash flow from operating activities because there are some non-cash items in the statement of profit and loss. For example, depreciation, then any asset written off, any kind of loss, etc. So such items do not result in the inflow or outflow of cash as such. As such, in order to ascertain the cash flow from operating activities, these non-cash items are eliminated from the net profit disclosed by statement of profit and loss. AS3 or Accounting Standard 3 Revised has stated 2 methods of ascertaining net cash flow from operating activities. First method is the direct method, and as we have already discussed in the previous videos that this method is not in your syllabus and hence it is not discussed. And second method is indirect method. Now let us start. Indirect method of calculating cash flow from operating activities. In this method we start with the profit, that is net profit. And which net profit? We have already discussed in the format net profit before tax. So the very first step while calculating the cash flow from operating activities is the determination of net profit before tax. Again, this is a repetitive point. This we have already done while doing the format. So just for a revision sake. Step 1, determination of net profit before tax. Net profit before tax is the starting point for the calculation of cash flow from operating activities, and it is calculated as follows. This is the pro forma. So the first point is you will be taking the profit of the current year, and how will you be getting it? That will be taken as the difference between opening balance and closing balance of statement of PL, because you will be giving the consecutive balances, so you will be just digging out the difference between the two balances, and that will be considered as the your profit or loss of the current year. If it is a negative, that means it's a loss. If it is positive, that means it's a profit. To that profit or loss, you will add back proposed dividend for previous year. Means whatever dividend was proposed in the previous year, that means that will be paid in the current year, and that should be a part of the financing activity, and it is already deducted, so therefore you need to add it back to the profit. Then any interim dividend paid during the year, again interim dividend paid is a part of financing activity, so therefore this will also be added back. Then any transfer to any of the reserves, general reserve, reserve fund, etc., that will also be added back to the profits, because this is not the part of the operating activity. And similarly, provision for tax for current year, the provision for tax which you have made in the current year, that's just a provision. The liability has still not incurred or occurred, so it will also be added back to the profit. And the provision for tax for the last year which you might have paid in the current year, that you will be deducting it later on in the operating activity. So there are 4 items which need to be added to the current year profit or loss, which will be calculated as a difference between the opening and the closing balance of the statement of PL. So the 4 items which needs to be added back is the proposed dividend of previous year, then interim dividend paid during the current year, then transfer to reserves, and lastly provision for tax for the current year. And then you will deduct any refund of tax. So after deducting the refund of tax, the whatever the net amount is there after adding and deducting, that will be the net profit before tax with which your cash flow statement will start. Now it may be noted that net profit before tax must be calculated in notes below the cash flow statement. It will be a part of the working note, and this working will not be a part of the cash flow statement format. This is a very important point, because if you do it, then your marks will be deducted. So therefore you need to show this working of step 1 separately as a working note. Then proposed dividend. AS4 or Accounting Standard 4 for contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date revised prescribes that proposed dividend both on equity shares and preference shares should not be shown as short-term provision in the balance sheet, but should be disclosed in notes to accounts as contingent liability, because it will be payable upon being declared or approved by the shareholders in the AGM, that is annual general meeting. Annual general meeting is held after the end of the financial year, that is in the next financial year. So that means if there is any proposed dividend, whether on the equity shares or the preference shares in the current year, so proposed means it is just a proposal, it has not been approved or it has not been paid. So it is just a contingent liability. If it is approved, then it will be payable, otherwise not. So therefore it will not be a part of the balance sheet, and therefore it will be shown as a contingent liability in the notes to accounts, because it will be decided only after the annual general meeting, which is generally held after the end of the financial year. So the effect of this on cash flow statement will be as follows. There can be two proposed dividend. Number 1, proposed dividend for previous year. So proposed dividend for previous year is shown as an outflow of cash, assuming it has been declared, approved at the AGM, that is annual general meeting in the current year, and has also been paid during the current year. So proposed dividend of the previous year will be shown as a cash outflow. It will be deducted, but only and only under financing activity. And it will also be added back to the net profit to determine the net profit before tax, since it must have been paid from the net profit, as we have already discussed. Then point number 2, proposed dividend for current year. It is shown in notes to accounts as contingent liability, hence no effect is to be given to proposed dividend of the current year while preparing cash flow statement. So this was the adjustment regarding the proposed dividend. Then reasons for addition or deduction of various items for determining net profit before tax. Point number 1, interim dividend paid during the year. It is paid during the current year, but it is an item of financing activity and not operating activity. So when the interim dividend is paid, no doubt it is a cash outflow. No doubt it should be deducted, but it is a part of financing activity. It need not be deducted from operating activity. So therefore it is added back to the profit. Hence it is added back to the net profit to find out cash generated from operating activities. It will later be shown as an outflow under financing activity. Then point number 2, transfer to reserves. Transfer to general reserve and other reserve is added back to the net profit, because it is an appropriation of profit and does not result in cash outflow. Because when you are creating any reserve, what you are doing, you are just putting a part of profit in some reserve, some saving. There is actually no flow. It is just a transfer of the profit from statement of profit and loss to reserve. So there is no outflow. So therefore this should not be deducted, and since it is created out of profit, it is deducted. So therefore it needs to be added back. Then the third point, provision for tax for the current year. Provision for tax is added back to the net profit, because creation of provision for tax doesn't result in an outflow of cash. You are just keeping aside a certain amount of money in the name of providing it for tax, the liability which might occur in the future. Just now ultimately the liability is not occurring, therefore it is not an outflow, and because you have transferred it out of profit, you must have deducted it in the statement of PL. That's why you need to add it back. Now, this was the step 1, determination of net profit before tax, discussed in detail. Now, step number 2, adjustment for non-cash items. If you remember the format which we have discussed in the previous video, there we have discussed that after ascertaining the net profit before tax, we have to adjust the non-cash items also, non-cash and non-operating items also. So, A point, items to be added back to the net profit. There are some items shown as expenses in the statement of profit and loss which do not result in the outflow of cash. Such items are called non-cash items, means those items which are deducted but they are not of cash in nature. So these will be added back. These items should be added back to the net profit to calculate the cash profit. So these items are generally as follows. Number 1, depreciation. We know that depreciation is a kind of loss in the fixed tangible assets, and therefore it is shown as a deduction in the statement of PL, but it doesn't involve any inflow or outflow of cash. So therefore this deduction of depreciation should be added back to the net profit. Now as you can read, depreciation is shown as an expenses in the statement of profit and loss. This reduces the profit made during the year without reducing the cash balance because it is a non-cash item. Since it is a non-cash item, and hence it will be added back to profit in order to find out the operating profit. Then point number 2, amortization of fictitious or intangible assets. Again, just like tangible asset, there can be reduction in the value of fixed intangible assets also, or there can be fictitious assets which are written off, for example preliminary expenses written off, etc. So again there is a reduction. It is deducted out of profit, but it doesn't involve any outflow of cash. So if it is deducted, because usually it is, now it needs to be added back to the profit under operating activities. So when these assets are written off, these are shown as expenses, all losses in the statement of profit and loss, but writing them off does not involve any cash payment, and therefore these are also added back to the profit for calculating operating profit. For example, goodwill written off, preliminary expenses written off, discount on issue of debentures written off, trademark and patent rights written off, and bad debts written off. So these are the examples of amortization of fictitious or intangible assets which need to be added back to the profit. Then point number 3, loss on sale of fixed assets. The loss on sale of fixed asset is generally shown as a loss in the statement of profit and loss, but it should be added back to the profit so that operating profit can be ascertained, because this is the loss arising out of sale of fixed asset, and selling of fixed asset is not the normal operating activity of a business. So therefore this loss cannot be treated as an operating loss, and hence if it is deducted, it needs to be added back. So net proceeds from the sale of fixed assets will be shown as an inflow of cash from investing activity. Whatever amount is received by selling the asset, that will be a part, that will be an inflow of cash under investing activity, because it involves the sale of fixed assets, not the goods. While preparing cash flow statement, it is also added back. The loss is also added back to the net profit, since it does not involve any cash payment. So whatever the loss is there, that will be added back to the profit, and whatever the money is received by the sale, that will be added in the investing activity. Point number 4, interest on long-term and short-term borrowings. Interest on long-term borrowings such as debenture interest, interest on short-term borrowings such as interest on bank overdraft and cash credit is added back to net profit, because it is an expense related to financing activity. So whatever interest has been paid on bank overdraft or cash credit or debentures anywhere, so such interest paid is a part of financing activity. No doubt it is paid out of profit, but while preparing cash flow statement, these are the part of financing activity, and when it has been reduced from the profit, it needs to be added back to the profit under operating activity, and it needs to be deducted as a cash outflow in case of financing activity. It is shown as an outflow of cash under financing activity, and therefore is added back to net profits while calculating the cash flow from operating activities. Then point number 5, creation of provisions. So if any provision has been created out of profits, such provision is added back to the profits earned during the year for calculating operating profit, because such provision reduces the profits made during the year without reducing the cash balance of the firm, since it is not an outflow. Again, creating any provision, whether for tax, whether for doubtful debts, whether for discount on debtors, etc. All such creation of provision means just putting aside certain amount of money for future known purposes. So this setting aside of money is not actually the cash outflow. It is not actually reducing the cash or cash equivalent balance, and therefore it will be added back. Such provisions may include the provision for doubtful debts, provision for discount on debtors, or provision for discount on trade receivables, or provision for expenses, etc. So those were the items to be added back to the net profits. Now the B point, items to be deducted from net profits. So there are some incomes which are shown in the statement of profit and loss, but they are non-operating incomes. These items should be deducted from net profits to find out the operating profit. So these items are as follows. Number 1, profit on sale of fixed assets. Just like loss, there can be profit also on sale of fixed assets. And again, the same repetitive point, selling fixed asset is not the normal operating business activity of a company. So therefore, in that case, any profit arising out of that might have been, or it must have been added to the profit in the statement of profit and loss. But while calculating the cash flow from operating activities, we need the operating profit. So hence such profit on sale of fixed assets so added will be deducted from profit, and the amount received by the sale will be added in the investing activity as cash inflow. So total amount of cash received from sale of fixed asset is a part of investing activity, and therefore it is shown as a cash inflow under investing activity and not operating activity. Therefore, profit on sale of fixed assets shown in statement of profit and loss must be deducted from the amount of profit under operating activities. Point number 2, receipt of interest and dividend, etc. Receipt of interest and dividend we have already discussed. Any interest or any dividend received is a part of investing activity. It is a cash inflow but under investing activity. So such interest and dividend received must have been shown as an income in the statement of profit and loss. It must have been added. So for calculating operating profit under operating activities, these will be deducted. So receipt of interest and dividend from investments are received from non-operating activities, because these investments are not the normal course of business activity. Therefore, they are deducted from net profits and are shown as an inflow of cash under investing activities. Then point number 3, rent received. Sometimes it happens that a company might be having some spare property which it might have sublet to some else. So subletting any property is also a kind of investment, because it is not the normal business activity. So any rent received out of such subletting or giving out on rent is again not an operating income. So therefore it will not be added in the operating activity. Therefore, because it is already added in the statement of PL, it will be deducted from the operating profit, or we can say net profit before tax. In that it will be deducted, and it will be shown as a cash inflow in case of investing activity. So as you can read, it is also a receipt from non-operating activities, as the owner has sublet his property to someone else and receiving rent in return. Hence it is also deducted from net profit and is shown as an inflow of cash and investing activities. Point number 4, retransfer of excess provisions. So while creating provision, we are keeping aside certain amount of money. It doesn't involve any outflow of cash. Similarly, when we have created any provision in excess and we are just retransferring the amount from provision to statement of PL, so similarly it also doesn't involve any inflow of cash. It is just a transfer of provision to the statement of PL. So if this is added to the statement of PL, because it is no doubt a transfer, but actually there is no cash inflow, so this will also be deducted. So when provision for depreciation, doubtful debts, etc. are made in excess of business needs, they are again transferred to the statement of profit and loss as incomes. They should also be deducted from profits, because they do not affect the flow of cash in the current year in any way. Since the increase or decrease in current assets and current liabilities also influence the flow of cash from operating activities, therefore in step 3 further, step 2 we have completed. Step 3 further, adjustment in respect of increase or decrease in current assets and current liabilities except cash and cash equivalents are to be made to arrive at the cash flow from operating activity. That means we also have to, after adjusting the non-cash and non-operating items, we will arrive at operating profit before working capital changes. That means before there is a change in current asset and current liability. Then after that, step 3 comes in, where you have to adjust the changes in working capital. So this has been explained as follows. Step 3 is the adjustment in respect of changes in current asset and current liability, or we can say working capital. So current asset and current liabilities go on changing frequently, although these changes do not affect the amount of net profit, but they affect the amount of cash generated from operating activities. Hence, in order to arrive at the figure of cash from operating activities, there is need for adjustments in respect of these changes. So these adjustments will be made in the following manner. So the first point, effect of decrease in current assets such as trade receivable, inventories, prepaid expenses, accrued income, etc. So if there is any decrease in current asset, that amount of decrease will be added back to the operating profit before working capital changes. So as you can see, decrease in current assets should be added to the operating profit before working capital changes for arriving at the figure of net cash generated from operating activities. Point number 2, effect of increase in current assets such as trade receivable, inventory, prepaid expenses, accrued income, etc. So if there is an increase in the current asset, that will be deducted from operating profit before working capital changes. So as you can see, increase in current asset should be deducted from the figure of operating profit before working capital changes to calculate the cash generated from operating activities. Point number 3, effect of decrease in current liabilities such as trade payables, outstanding expenses, incomes received in advance, etc. So if there is a decrease in the value or in the balance of current liabilities, that amount of decrease should be added to the operating profit before working capital changes. So decrease in current liabilities should be deducted from the operating profit before working capital changes to arrive at the figure of net cash generated from operating activities. And the fourth point, effect of increase in current liabilities such as trade payables, outstanding expenses, incomes received in advance, etc. So increase in such current liabilities should be added to the figure of operating profit before working capital changes to calculate net cash generated from operating activities. So to make it more presentable and clear to you, it is just a synopsis has been given, just a summary has been given to you. It is clear from the above discussion that decrease in current asset increases the cash from the operating activity, and therefore it will be added to the operating profit before working capital changes. Increase in current asset decreases the cash from operating activities, therefore it is deducted. Then decrease in current liability decreases the cash from operating activities, therefore. Then the last one, increase in current liability increases the cash from operating activities, therefore it will be added to the operating profit before working capital changes. So as such, cash from operating activities is equal to operating profit, that is operating profit before working capital changes. In that we will add decrease in current asset and increase in current liability, and we will deduct increase in current asset and decrease in current liabilities. It should be remembered that the balance of cash and cash equivalents or changes in cash and cash equivalents from one period to another are not considered while calculating cash from operating activities. That means any change, any decrease or increase in the value of cash and cash equivalent, that will not be counted as an increase or decrease in current asset, because that is shown separately at the end of the cash flow statement. So step 3 we have discussed. So step 1 was net ascertaining or determining the net profit before tax. Then step 2 was adjustment regarding the non-cash and non-operating items. And then step 3 was adjustment of working capital to operating profit before working capital changes. And now the last step in the operating activities is step 4, that is deduct income tax paid. So income tax paid is deducted from cash generated from operating activities. That means after adjusting the non-cash and non-operating items, then after adjusting the changes, increase or decrease in the value of current asset and current liability, whatever cash is generated from activities, operating activities, from that we will deduct income tax paid. So the amount after above adjustments, that means step 1, step 2 and step 3, after all the adjustment up till step 3 is the amount of cash flow from operating activities, and even after deducting income tax paid. So ultimately, after deducting income tax paid, we will be getting the amount which will be cash flow from operating activity if the amount is positive. And if the balance is a negative balance, then it will be written as cash flow used in operating activities. Now, distinction between net profit and cash from operations. So the first basis of difference is meaning. So net profit indicates the net result of activities carried out during an accounting year, whether operating or non-operating. But cash from operation indicates the cash flow as a result of operating activities only. Then the second basis of difference is non-cash operating items. Net profit, it is calculated after taking into account the effect of non-cash operating items such as depreciation. But cash from operation is calculated after excluding the effect of non-cash operating items. In these items represent nearly the book entries. And the last basis is basis for calculation. So net profit is calculated on accrual basis. It incorporates all the credit transactions also. But cash from operation incorporates only the cash basis. So these are the differences between net profit and cash from operations. Now the note. These are some of the points are repetitive just for the revision sake. Note number 1. Cash in hand and cash at bank will not affect cash from operating activities. It will be included in cash and cash equivalents. No doubt cash in hand and bank balance are the current asset, but any difference in their value will not be incorporated in operating activities while adjusting the current asset or current liability. Rather, it will be included in cash and cash equivalents at the end. Point number 2, as per ISC guidelines, bank overdraft and cash credit will be treated as short-term borrowings, and as per para 17 of Accounting Standard 3 revised, cash proceeds from short-term borrowings should be classified under financing activities. As such, bank overdraft and cash credit will be treated as financing activities instead of cash equivalents. That means we will not incorporate bank overdraft or cash credit as cash equivalent. Rather, these will be considered as short-term loans or short-term borrowings in case of financing activities. If there is a decrease in such cash credit and bank overdraft, again it will not be accounted as decrease in current liability under operating activities. No, it will be accounted, such decrease will be accounted as the payment of bank overdraft and cash credit or outflow of cash in case of financing activity. And if there is an increase in the balance of bank overdraft and cash credit, again it will be shown as a cash inflow under financing activity. It will not be a part of operating activity. It will not be a part of cash equivalents. Point number 3, while solving a question, net profit before tax is written first of all. The very first point is the net profit before tax. For calculating net profit before tax, usually the following items are added to the net profit given in the question that we have already discussed. Number 1, provision for income tax made during the year. Number 2, proposed dividend of previous year on the assumption that it might have been paid in the current year. Third point, interim dividend paid to shareholders. Fourth point, transfer to general reserve or any other reserve during the year. And there is one point which we have to deduct if it is given in the question, that is refund of tax. Now, it may be noted that net profit before tax must be calculated in notes below the cash flow statement. That means it will not be a part of cash flow statement format. It is a very important point. Do remember, children. So, I hope the topics which we have discussed here in this video is clear to you. Go through the video once again and revise it all. Now, this is the assignment based on this video. You have to answer the following questions in your register. Question number 1, what do you mean by operating activities? Operating activities are the principal business activities of a company. Then question number 2, how is net profit before tax calculated in case of cash flow statement? So in this you have to write the note which was there. That means in order to calculate net profit before tax, first of all we will dig out the difference in the balance of statement of PL of opening and the closing balance. Then we will add provision for tax of the current year, proposed dividend of the previous year, we will add interim dividend paid during the year, then we will add any transfer to any reserve, and we will deduct refund of tax. Question number 3, how is proposed dividend for the previous year and current year shown in case of cash flow statement? So proposed dividend for the previous year will be added back to the net profit before tax under operating activities, and it will be shown as an outflow under financing activity. And proposed dividend of the current year will be shown as a contingent liability in the notes to accounts in the balance sheet. It will not be shown in the cash flow statement. Question number 4, state various non-cash items to be added back to the profits under operating activities. So here it can be depreciation on fixed tangible asset, amortization of fixed intangible assets, then amortization of or writing of fictitious assets, loss on sale of fixed assets, etc. State various non-cash items to be deducted from the profits under operating activities. So basically here non-cash items, or we can say the non-operating items. For example, profit on sale of fixed assets, then any interest received, dividend received, rent received, etc. Question number 6, state the effects of the following on operating profit before working capital changes in case of operating activity. Number 1, effect of decrease in current assets such as trade receivable, inventories, prepaid expenses, accrued incomes, etc. So decrease in such current assets will be added to the operating profit before working capital changes. Then say B point, effect of increase in current assets such as trade receivable, inventory, prepaid expenses, accrued income, etc. So such increase in such current assets will be deducted from operating profit before working capital changes. Point number C, effect of decrease in current liabilities such as trade payables, outstanding expenses, incomes received in advance, etc. So decrease in such current liabilities will be deducted from operating profit before working capital changes. And the D point, effect of increase in current liabilities such as trade payables, outstanding expenses, incomes received in advance, etc. So increase in such current liabilities will be added to the operating profit before working capital changes in case of operating activities. Question number 7, state two differences between net profit and cash from operations. So we have discussed 3 differences. You can write any 2. For example, net profit incorporates the or works on accrual basis, whereas cash from operations works on cash basis. Then net profit takes into account the non-cash and non-operating items also, but cash from operations does not take into account non-cash and non-operating items. Then question number 8, how is income tax paid treated under cash flow statement? So income tax paid is deducted from the cash flow or cash generated from the operating activities at the end under the operating activities. So I hope the questions are clear to you. What you have to write as an answer is clear to you, children. Just go through the video and once again revise the topics and keep on revising the format of cash flow statement stepwise. And also complete all the written work in your register. Thank you, children. Take care.